Our second distinguished presenter this morning is Danielle Johnston with Twister Sports. Twisters has been in a growth mode since the company's launch in 2013. This morning, Danielle and crew are going to share more of their story with us. So please help me in welcoming Danielle Johnston with Twister Sports.
Thank you. My name is Danielle Johnston. This is Angie Fritsch, my business partner. And then we do have a couple very tired children this morning who are going to help demonstrate. We have Addie and Connor. Connor's 11 and Addie is 6. She had Little Miss Johnson County last night, so she's pretty exhausted, but she's going to keep it awake for you guys. So we brought children. We didn't get lost from the kids' college, but we did bring children because we are a business that focuses on children. We teach cheerleading, dance, tumbling, gymnastics, martial arts, and now softball in both Warrensburg and Sedalia at 2 different locations. So you're about to see some of the stuff they do. She gets excited with the ceiling here. So we began in 2011. Addie was about 18 months old at the time. I taught cheerleading and dance at Whiteman Air Force Base, and Angie actually taught tumbling and gymnastics, and we were contracted through the base. In March of 2013, we had become contracted through Warrensburg Parks and Recreation. We were running over 120 students between just the 2 of us, and we realized that we were running out of space. We needed equipment. We needed more mats. To learn to do these things, it's very helpful to have some mats that if they fall safely. So one day my husband and I were sitting in a room and our older daughter was practicing some cartwheels, and we almost got kicked in the face because we were in a room about this size with probably 65 kids trying to learn tumbling. And it was that day that my husband and I said, we have to start a business, we have to open something and create more space and more opportunities for these children. So we contacted Angie and her husband. Her husband was full-time in school at the time, and her first answer was, no way, not happening. About 2 weeks later, she did call me back and say, okay, if it's still an option, we want to do this. So Angie and her husband and my husband and I decided to go in together. We found a building at our first location in Warrensburg and opened with 10,000 square feet in March of 2013. By May of 2013, we had to expand and ask the landlord if we could have the additional 5,000 square feet next to us. By the end of that year of 2013, we found out that we had quite a crew coming from Sedalia. And they were making the 30-minute drive every week to have their kids learn tumbling, cheerleading, and all of those activities. And so January, we hadn't even been open 9 months. We decided to start embarking on Sedalia. And in April of 2014, we opened our second location in Sedalia. We're currently located behind Jerry Baker Auto Sales. If you don't see a sign, it's because we have one that is ready to go up, but we have never had the space to advertise in Sedalia. We have always had so many students that we don't have the space in the classes, which sounds very counterproductive, but this summer we will be putting that sign up because we have just expanded in Sedalia now an additional 1,800 square feet. So the former building, it used to be a Praxair. They used to fix, I think, ambulances there. Completely different building. So if you know it from back then, you'll have to come take a look now because it is very family friendly, very clean, kid oriented. So it's pretty neat. In September 2015, we started our Twisters to You mobile tumbling program. We go to 7 different daycares and we teach tumbling during the day to preschoolers. That way, if you're a busy parent or you go to school at night, maybe at State Fair, or you have other children and other activities, your 2- and 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds can still take tumbling. And we send progress reports and we send pictures and videos to the parents. They have a Facebook group so that they can actually see what their children are doing during the day. In November of 2015, of just last year, we did purchase a new building for our Warrensburg location. We expanded from our 14,000 square feet to 35,000 square feet. It was a little bit scary of a move, but we now also are co-located with Strive Women's Fitness. So if you're a mom, you can go drop your child off for tumbling and then go work out. We are opening batting cages in September as well. So the dads and the brothers have some good stuff to do. Where we are today, we do employ 26 part-time people. They are primarily college students and military spouses. We do have 7 full-time employees, 600 in-house athletes, meaning they actually come to the gyms and take classes at the gyms, plus an additional 100 mobile tumbling athletes. We talked about our locations. We are doing more than 25 camps and clinics this summer, both in Sedalia and Warrensburg. We were awarded in 2015, our Warrensburg location was awarded Business of the Year, and then we did receive the Missouri Rising Star Award through the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. We've been featured in some great magazines. We actually both hip hop teams were first place for US finals this year, meaning we were top ranked in the country for hip hop. You can see some of the reasons we do what we do. It's not to teach kids how to do cartwheels and handsprings, though they are very cool. It's to build their confidence, teach them self-discipline. Our athletes, we have to eliminate at least 2 or 3 practices every year so that they can go celebrate their academic achievements. Most of our athletes are in National Junior Honor Society, National Honor Society, and we are starting this fall a tutoring program as well for those who maybe do need some additional help in classes so they can come to the gym before classes and get some additional tutoring. Is that my time? Okay. Okay, I think I'm on my last one. What makes us unique? We do offer consistency. Our classes do run year-round. Personal accountability for the children. They learn to kind of rely on themselves. We're very family-centered, offer a variety of programs, and definitely one of the things our business believes in is constant improvement. If you ever come to our gym, rarely do you see the exact same thing from week to week. We like to constantly be improving, working on the cleanliness, the atmosphere. My husband's really into things for the dads to do, so there's always a Royals game playing or American Ninja Warrior, something like that. The challenges, we do find it difficult to market a little bit in Sedalia because Sedalia marketing and Warrensburg marketing, quite honestly, are very different. It's a little bit of a different community, and so we have to tailor those ads a little bit for the different communities. I can't do a one-size-fits-all. Staffing locally, you can see here in Sedalia, if you go to State Fair Community College, you're here for a year or 2. Our kind of industry became very popular in the early 2000s, which is the, millennials, and so staffing can be difficult because they're very transient. A lot of parents think that it's a very expensive and time-consuming sport. So the assumption of cost and time commitment, we really try to let them know that it's affordable for everyone. And then you'll see in the picture here, we did do a daddy-daughter stunt clinic recently. It was pretty neat. Dads were a little scared. So sorry about going a little bit over there.
No, that's great. Thank you. Thank you to both of you for entertaining us. I enjoyed it. All right, so now let's jump into our question and answer session.
You said there's differences between the 2 communities. What kind of differences are you finding?
So quite honestly, diversity. There's a lot more diversity, both in language and ethnic diversity here in Sedalia. We definitely want to market to all children and help all children feel comfortable. So we have actually modified some of our procedures here in Sedalia so that the Hispanic community feels a little more comfortable coming in. The parents know what they're signing if they're signing their child up for an activity. We do have just a little bit more of the language barriers here. And then in the marketing, we want to make sure that in our images of happy, smiling children, that children can identify with somebody in that picture. So we do, those ads are a little bit more diverse here in Sedalia. In Warrensburg, it's not quite as diverse, quite honestly. So, yes?
Do you have adult classes?
So here in Sedalia, we do not currently, but we do offer adult jiu-jitsu in Warrensburg, and we are looking at bringing that this fall. So, yes?
What kind of training do your instructors go through?
Great question. They go through what's called United States All-Star Federation, which is cheerleading. They have to do tumbling and stunting. It's a written test, a hands-on test. They get credentialed through a nationwide organization. And then we're also credentialed through USA Gymnastics. which is, the organization that is sanctioned for the Olympics for that. So all of our instructors are required to do that. We do have an orientation and a training process they have to go through. They are never allowed one-on-one with a child, no matter how long you've worked with us. Angie and I ourselves never work one-on-one with a child. So there's always another qualified adult in the building. We feel that helps us help parents feel comfortable, whether you know us well or not. So.
What are your plans? Where are you going from here? What are your next 6 months to 5 years?
Yes, so for Warrensburg, we have started our batting cages. They are opening September 1st. We will be the only indoor batting cages for about a 30-mile radius. For Sedalia, we are starting tap and ballet this fall. We do have a very large martial arts room that will be done with its renovations, and then very large tap and ballet room. We would love to see softball brought here as well. We did softball. That was kind of one of Angie's passions. We had a lot of kids who were interested in it, and we didn't win a lot, but it was very successful this year. They had a lot of fun.
They had fun playing in the dirt.
Yes, this one choreographed a few hip-hop routines in the outfield, but that's what we do.
What do you feel like is one of the biggest barriers to that future growth?
Staffing. Yeah, it's very challenging. We have, when we opened 4 years ago, we only have, I think, 2 staff members who are still with us because they've all graduated college. One of them is a military spouse, and the other is graduating college in the spring. So it's difficult to train up your staff and have good quality staff, and then they move on, which is what they need to do. They need to graduate college and go into that field, but it can definitely be challenging. We can only employ so many full-time people to keep them. Yes?
How long does it take to get somebody certified? Looking at probably 3 months?
It's actually, by the time they can teach every class in the gym or every class within that structure for tumbling, it's over a year. So you can start teaching preschool classes a little bit younger because they're working on more basic skills. We also have junior coaches, so we're trying to fix that staffing problem for the future. Connor is 11. He helps with our preschool tumbling. So right now at 11, he helps them through obstacle courses. He might help teach them a forward roll. Really, he's helping them focus. We do have children as old as, maybe 15 or 16 that at that point they're starting to actually teach a bridge, a cartwheel, stuff like that. So our hope is that in 5 years, when they are a little bit older, we have a full-up staff who's been with us forever and is qualified. Yes?
What's the youngest age you have enrolled and what's the oldest?
So we have 18 months is when we start our Mommy and Me class. We do take 2-year-olds for our mobile tumbling program. They're a little more comfortable in an environment in a daycare that they're used to. The 18 months, mom does help. Mom doesn't tumble, but she does help kind of guide them through the obstacle courses and the balance beam and stuff. On the oldest end, we're a very young gym. When we started at the youth center, the oldest age that they allowed was 11. So every athlete we had was 11 and under as of a couple years ago. The majority of our gym is about 15 and under, but we do have a few high school students who come in for what we like to call high school tumbling, so that even if you're a high school student learning a cartwheel, you feel comfortable with other kids your age. So, and then of course a couple adult classes in Warrensburg. Yes?
Do you have a website?
Twistersports.com. Thank you. Yes?
What is the most popular age group that you work with? Where do you seem to get your most activity?
I would say our 6 to 8-year-olds primarily. I think at that age they're starting to be capable of doing so much more, and it's really a maximum progression at that age. They're naturally flexible. They're still pretty strong. Their gross motor skills have developed quite a bit. So at that point, parents can put their 6 to 8-year-old in, and they just see progression very quickly. Once you get a little bit older, they do start to naturally, as adults, we don't have a lot of flexibility unless you kept it up. And so by 9, 10 years old, your flexibility is starting to have to be rebuilt to do this activity.
So you have been around for a few years, your company has.
We have.
Were there any pitfalls or bad decisions, or if you had to look back over the last 4 or 5 years, could you put your finger on one thing that would be good guidance to give other entrepreneurs that are just starting out?
Yeah, until recently, we expected our business to be small. We started with 10,000 square feet and thought, what are we going to do with all this space? And then, like I said, after 2 months, we had to expand. We were busting at the seams. Here in Sedalia, we got a building that was 10,000 square feet, and we thought this is plenty of space. Not in the summer, it's a little slower, but in the fall, we are going to be busting at the seams. And so I suppose I would say business owners should project for growth. Assume or be prepared that you are going to grow beyond your means and prepare for it. Angie and I thought, I was Air Force at the time when we opened our business, and I thought, I'm just going to stay in the Air Force. This is a great job. I'm a tech sergeant. I'm going to get a retirement. Angie worked at the hospital, and she had worked there forever. We thought we were just going to go do this at night just for fun, open up at 5 and, I don't know, be done at 8, a couple nights a week. And within 6 months, we had to quit our jobs. And last August, my husband, who was 19 and a half years in, quit his job. And Angie's husband quit his job, and they are full-time now as well. So we didn't anticipate the growth.
Any more questions? Because I have the last question. No. Okay, so what can we as a community do for you?
I think our biggest hurdle in Sedalia, it does, and I apologize, I haven't grown up in Sedalia, so I grew up in Chicago and the Air Force moved me here. My perception, at least, is there can be pockets of communities in Sedalia, unlike what I see in Warrensburg, pockets of communities that maybe you live in this neighborhood and somebody lives in this neighborhood, but you don't really ever have to interact, or you don't always know each other. So we still struggle to get the word out. There's also a lot of small communities around Sedalia, and 50% of our athletes here in Sedalia come from those small communities. So trying to, I suppose, get the word out that there is a facility. We're prepared now for that growth as to where we weren't in the past. And so helping get the word out that we exist, we're around. It's not super expensive. You don't have to bring your child for 20 hours a week. It can be one 45-minute class each week, and it's going to build their confidence and give them self-discipline. These two know that unlike maybe softball, where you can get good, but your whole team really contributes to that, this is a great individual sport as far as tumbling that shy children can do, and they don't have to feel out of their element. And you know, it's just a good individual sport that teaches that individual self-discipline. If I don't practice, I won't get better. And it's something that really helps them through adulthood. So.
Thank you. Thank you.